Okay, so for today we are going to do a CALLAN demo lesson, right?
Okay.
Yes, yes. Okay, by the way, my name is Cherry and your name is
My name is Bella. You can call me.
Bellas.
Yes.
Yes, it's nice to meet you this afternoon, Bella.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. How's your day today?
Yes, good. Fine. I'm fine.
Fine, that's good. Okay. Yeah, so for this afternoon we will have our CALLAN lesson. So are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Yes. Okay. So now let's start with our revision. All right. Yes. So let's start. So what's my right hand doing? What's my right hand doing? Your right hand's moving.
Your right
Your right
hands
hand's moving up and down. Up
moving up and down.
and down. So what am I doing? What am I doing? You're standing up.
You're standing up.
What am I doing? What am I doing? You're sitting down.
You're sitting
Sitting
down.
down. Do you sit down after the lesson? Do you sit down after the lesson? No, I don't
You
sit
sit
down
down after
after
the
the lesson.
lesson.
I stand up
I
after
stand
the
up.
lesson.
I stand up
After
after the
the
lesson.
lesson. Good. So what's the negative of can? What's the negative of can? The negative
The
of
negative of
can is
is
cannot.
can.
Cannot. Cannot. What's the contraction of cannot? What's the contraction of cannot? The contraction
Of
of cannot is
is
can't.
can.
Can't. Good. So can you speak Japanese? Can you speak Japanese? No, I
No,
can't
no, I
speak
can't speak
Japanese.
Japanese.
Japanese. Can you put the table into your pocket? Can you put the table into your pocket? No, I can't.
No, I
Put
can't
the
put
table
table into
into
my
my pocket. Good. Can you touch the ceiling? Can you touch the ceiling? No, I can't
I can
touch
touch
the ceiling.
the
Okay, so how much is a quarter of 40? How much is a quarter of 40? 10 is a quarter
of
of 40.
14.
How much is a quarter of 1,000? How much is a quarter of 1,000? 250. And 50
250
is a quarter of 1,000. 1,000. Good. What's a quarter of 10? What's a quarter of 10? Two and a half
two and a
is
half
a quarter of 10. Of 10. Good. So what's a quarter of 5? What's a quarter of 5? One and a quarter.
one
One and a quarter.
and a
A
quarter
quarter is a quarter of
is
5.
a
It's a
quarter of
quarter of
5.
5. Good. Are you teaching me English? Are you teaching me English? No, I'm not.
No,
No,
I'm
I'm
not
not teaching you English.
teaching you English.
I'm learning English from you.
I'm
Learn
English from
English
you.
from you. Do you learn Spanish? Do you learn Spanish? No, I don't learn
Learn
Spanish.
Spanish.
I I
I
learn
learn
English.
English.
English. Good. Do you like learning a language? Do you like learning a language? Yes, I like. No?
I like
Yes, I like learning a language.
learning a
Learning
language.
a language. Good. Is English grammar difficult? Is English grammar difficult? No. English grammar
English
isn't
grammar
difficult.
and
Isn't
difficult.
difficult. It's easy.
It's easy.
It's easy. Good. Is Chinese an easy language to learn? Is Chinese an easy language to learn? No, Chinese
No,
isn't.
Chinese isn't
Isn't
easy
an
language
easy language to learn. It's a
to
easy
language.
language to learn. It's a difficult
It's a
language to
difficult
learn.
language to
Language
learn.
to learn. Is it difficult for you to speak your language? Is it difficult for you to speak your language? No, it isn't
No, it isn't
difficult for me. Difficult for me to speak my language.
language.
It's easy.
It's
It's
easy.
easy. Okay. Is it generally easy for people to write with their left hand? Is it generally easy for people to write with their left hand? No, it isn't.
No, it
No, it isn't generally easy for people. Generally easy.
isn't
Easy
for
for people to
people
write with their left hand. With their left hand.
with the
With
left
their
hand.
left hand. It's difficult.
It's difficult.
Yes. Okay. So what's my pen doing? What's my pen doing? Your pen's hanging
Hanging
between your finger and
between
your thumb. Finger
finger
and
and the thumb.
it. So is there a light hanging from the ceiling? Is there a light hanging from the ceiling? Yes, there's a light.
There is
There's
a
a light hanging from the
hanging
ceiling.
from the
From the
ceiling.
ceiling. Is there a map hanging on that wall? Is there a map hanging on that wall? Yes, no. No, there isn't a map.
Isn't
There
a
isn't a map hanging on that wall.
hanging on that wall.
Well, do you go home after the lesson by car, by bus, by train, or do you walk home? Do you go home after the lesson by car, by bus, by train, or do you walk home? I walk home. I
I walk
walk
home
home after the lesson.
after the
After the
lesson.
lesson, I don't go by car,
I don't go by car, by
by
bus,
bus, or by
or
train.
by
By
train.
train. So which do you prefer, to walk or go by car? Which do you prefer, to walk or go by car? I
I
prefer
prefer to
to walk to walk than to go by car.
stand
Than to go
by
by
car.
car. Do you come to school by train or by bus? Do you come to school by train or by bus? I come to school
I go to
by
school
bus.
by bus.
That's good. Are you married? Are you married? Yes, no. Yes,
I'm not
no. No, I'm not. Okay, are
married.
you married? Are you married? Yes, no. No,
No, I'm not
I'm not
married. I'm
married.
single.
I'm single. Good. Is Mr. Brown single? Is Mr. Brown single? No, Mr. Brown. Mr.
Is
Brown
that
isn't single.
single?
He's
Who's
married.
married?
Married. Is Miss Brown married? Is Miss Brown married? No, Miss Brown
Miss Brown
isn't married.
is
Isn't
married.
married. She's single.
She's
She's
single.
single. Has Mr. Brown got a wife? Has Mr. Brown got a wife? Yes,
But
Mr.
he
Brown's
got
got
a
a
wife.
wife. Has Mrs. Brown got a husband? Has Mrs. Brown got a husband? Yes, Mrs.
That Mrs.
Brown's
Brown
got
got
a
a
husband.
friend.
Husband. Is Mrs. Brown's husband standing behind the house? Is Mrs. Brown's husband standing behind the house? No.
No,
Mrs. Brown's
no,
husband
husband
isn't
is
standing
behind
behind.
the house.
He's standing.
He's
He's standing
standing
in front
in
of the
front
house.
of the
Of the
house.
house. What's your mother's name? What's your mother's name? My mother's name
Mother's
is.
Uranchimik.
What's your father's name? What's your father's name? My father's
My
name
father's
is.
name is Firstskirish.
What's your father's wife's name? What's your father's wife's name? My
My
father's
father's
wife's
wife's
name
name is
is.
Uranchimik.
What's your mother's husband's name? What's your mother's husband's name? My mother's
My husband's
husband's
name is
name is.
Firstskirish.
Very difficult to pronounce. Okay. What's the plural of child? What's the plural of child? The
The
plural of
name of
child.
the child
Child
is
is children. Okay. How many children have your mother and father got? How many children have your mother and father got? My mother and father
we
have
have got
got two,
three
three,
children.
three children.
Three
Are
children.
you an only child? Are you an only child? No, I'm not.
I'm
No, I'm not. Only
an only
child.
child.
Yes. Okay. So what do we call this? What do we call this? We call this a pen.
We call this a pen.
A pen. What do we call this? What do we call this? We call this an arm.
Call this an
This an
arm.
arm. What do we call this? What do we call this? We call
We
this
call
a
this
wrist.
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 Okay. So what do we call the people in France? What do we call the people in France? We call the
The
people in
people in
France French.
French.
French kit. What do we call the thing we wear on our heads? What do we call the thing we wear on our heads? We
We
call
call
the
thing we
thing
wear
we wear
in
on our
our
heads
heads.
a hat.
A
A
hat.
hat. That's good. What do people generally call their mother and father? What do people generally call their mother and father? People generally call
People generally call
their
their
mother
mother and father
mom and dad.
mom and
And
dad.
dad. Good. Are both my hands on the table? Are both my hands on the table? No.
No,
Both your
your
hands
parents
aren't on the
aren't
table.
on the
The
table.
table. One's on the table,
One's on the table
and the others on your
and the
head.
others on your
On your
head.
head. Are both my hands closed? Are both my hands closed? No. Both
Both
your
your
hands
hands
aren't
are
closed.
closed.
Closed. One's
Both
closed
closed
and
and
the others
the
open.
others open.
Open. Okay, so look at a picture. Are both these pencils red? Are both these pencils red? No.
No,
Both these pencils
this
aren't
is
red.
orange red.
Aren't red. One's red.
One's red
One's red.
and
The
the other
other's gray.
gray.
That's good. Okay, so what's this? What's this? It's a book.
It's a book.
What kind of book is this? What kind of book is this? It's an
It's an
English
English book.
English book. What kind of room is this? What kind of room is this? It's a
It's
classroom.
strong.
Classroom. What kind of car do you prefer? What kind of car do you prefer? I
I
prefer
prefer
Sports car,
Sport,
Toyota car, sports car.
sports car.
Okay, so go right to Bella. That'll be the end for our revision. So this time, let's try to have our new work. Okay, now repeat. Okay, sorry, listen. We will study about the prepositions. Okay, so the words on, under, in, etc. are prepositions. Okay, so give me some examples of prepositions, please. Give me some examples of prepositions, please. Some examples
Some examples of
of prepositions.
prepositions
Prepositions are on,
on,
under, under,
under,
in, and
in,
it, and from,
and in,
from,
and from.
from. So where do you come from? Where do you come from? I come from.
Mongolia.
Okay, where do I come from? Where do I come from? You come from the Philippines.
Philippines.
Okay, so listen. When we use the words, for example, what, which, and where, we put the preposition last in the sentence. So, for example, we didn't say, from where do you come? But we say, where do you come from? So, from is at the end. Another example, we do not say, on what are you putting the book? But we say, what are you putting the book on? So on comes last in the question, right? So now let's practice more. What do we speak with? What do we speak with? We speak with our mouth.
Yes.
So where am I taking the book from? Where am I taking the book from? You're taking
You're
the book,
taking the book
the book
from
the
the
table.
table.
What am I putting the pen under? What am I putting the pen under? You're putting the
You're
pen
putting the pen under the
under.
book.
What are you sitting on? What are you sitting on? I'm sitting
And
on
sitting
a
on
chair.
a chair.
That's good. Okay. Repeat. North,
North,
south,
south,
south, east,
southeast,
east. That's good. West.
west,
Cardinal point.
cardinal point,
Paris.
Paris.
That's good. Okay, listen. The four cardinal points are north, south, east, and west. Okay, so for example, Paris, okay, is in the north of France. Okay, Italy is in the east of Greece. Okay, another example, Germany isn't east or west of Italy, but it's in the north of Italy. Now, tell me the names of the four cardinal points, please. Tell me the names of the four cardinal points, please.
The names
Names
of
of
the
the
four
four
cardinal
cardinal
points
points are
are
north,
north,
south, south,
south,
east,
west,
and
east,
west. Okay, not west, east, and
east,
west.
and
And
west.
west. Good. Is Greece west of Italy? Is Greece west of Italy? No, Greece
No,
isn't.
Greece
Isn't
isn't
west of
west
Italy.
of
Of
Italy.
Italy, it's east of
It's east.
Italy.
It's
Of
east of
of
Italy.
Italy. Is Paris in the south of France? Is Paris in the south of France? No, Paris isn't.
Paris
It's
isn't in
in
the
the south
south
of
of
France. France,
France.
it's in the north
It's in the
of
north of
France.
France.
France. Good. Is Germany east or west of Italy? Is Germany east or west of Italy? Germany isn't.
East or
Germany is east or west of
west
Italy. Of
Italy.
Italy. It's north of
It's
Italy.
north of Italy.
Okay, repeat. Place.
Place.
Some of.
Some of.
Good. Okay, listen. The names of some of the places I like in this country or in this country are Cebu, okay, Mactan Island, and etc. Okay. Another meaning of the word place are the seats. For example, in our room, there are two seats, my chair and your chair. So we say there are two places in this room. Okay. Now, for example, there's somebody sitting in this place. You are sitting in that place. Okay. Now, how many places are there in this room? How many places are there in this room? There are
There are
two
two
places
places in
in
this
this
room.
room. Is there anybody sitting in that place? Is there anybody sitting in that place? Yes,
Yes,
there's
there's
somebody sitting.
somebody sitting
It's
in that place.
in this place.
In this
In
place.
Okay, so tell me the names of some of the places you like in your country. Tell me the names of some of the places you like in your country. The names of
These are
names of
some of
some
the
of the places I
places
like
I like
in
in
my
my
country.
country
Country
are
are what are those beautiful places?
Skultala
Okay, and
and Harostahonor Kachort.
okay, etc. That's it. Okay, I'm not familiar with those places, Bella. Okay, yes. So, all right. So, by the way, Bella, do you have the book of Callan Stage 2 or no?
I don't
No.
have yet.
Okay, so it's okay. So we'll just do the reading lesson next time or whenever you got the book. Okay, so let's continue our new work. Repeat opposite.
Opposite.
Good. Okay, listen. The opposite of long is short. Okay. The
Mhm.
opposite of large is small. The opposite of behind is in front of. Okay. Opposite. The opposite of the verb to teach is to learn. Okay. So now what's the opposite of high? What's the opposite of high? The
The
opposite of
opposite
high
of
is
I is alone.
is
Walk.
good. So what's the opposite of behind? What's the opposite of behind? The
The
opposite of
opposite
behind.
of behind
Behind
is
is in front
in
of.
front of.
So what's the opposite of tall? What's the opposite of tall? The opposite
The
of
opposite
tall
of tall
is
is short.
short. What's the opposite of the verb to teach? What's the opposite of the verb to teach? The
The
opposite
opposite of
of
the
the
word
verb to teach.
to
To
teach
teach
is
is to learn.
learn
Okay, repeat without.
without.
Good. Okay, listen. The opposite of with is without. So, for example, we can write with a pen or a pencil, but we can't write without a pen or a pencil. Okay, without. Another example, we can't speak without opening our mouths. So, we always have to open our mouths when we speak. Okay, another example, I can read without wearing glasses. So it's fine. Okay. Now, what's the opposite of with? What's the opposite of with? The
The
opposite of
opposite of with
with
is
is
without.
without. Can we write without a pen or a pencil? Can we write without a pen or a pencil? No,
No,
we
we
can't
can't write
write
without
without
a
a pen or a
pen or
pencil. A
pencil.
pencil. Can we speak without opening our mouths? Can we speak without opening our mouths? No, we can't
No, we can
speak
speak without
without
opening
opening
our
our
mouths.
mouths. Can you read without wearing glasses? Can you read without wearing glasses? Yes, no.
No, I can't
I
read
can't read without
without
wearing
wearing
glasses.
glasses.
That's good. Okay. This time, okay, repeat translation.
Translation.
Translation. Good. Okay, listen. This time, let's study about nouns and verbs. Okay. A verb is a word we use for an action. So, for example, take, put, open, close, stand, sit, and etc. So these are verbs. A noun is the name of a thing. So, for example, a pen, a pencil, a book, a chair, a table, and etc. So these are nouns. Okay. The word translate is a verb, whereas the word translation is a noun. The word mean is a verb, whereas the word meaning is a noun. So verb and a noun. Now, what's the difference between a verb and a noun? What's the difference between a verb and a noun? The difference
The
between
difference
between
between
a
a verb
verb
and
and a noun
a noun is
is
that
that a
the
verb
verb
is
is
a word
the
we
word
use for an action.
we
We
use
use
for an
for
action.
an action, whereas a
A
noun
noun
is
is
the name of a
the
thing.
name of the
Of
thing.
a thing.
Of
Now,
a
give me
thing.
an example. That's good. So, give me an example of a verb, please. Give me an example of a verb, please. Take is a
It
verb.
is a verb.
So, give me an example of a noun. Give me an example of a noun. Book is
Book
a
is
noun.
a noun.
Is the word translation a verb or a noun? Is the word translation a verb or a noun? The word
The word
translation.
translation is a noun.
Very good. Okay, repeat. During.
During,
About.
about,
Okay, listen. We speak English during the lesson. Okay? We sit on our chairs during the lesson. Okay? You answer, or I ask you about maybe 50 questions during the lesson. Okay? Now, do we speak uh, Japanese during the lesson? Do we speak Japanese during the lesson? No, we don't
don't
speak
speak
Japanese
Japanese
during the
during
lesson.
the lesson. We
We
speak
speak
English.
English. Okay? Do you walk about the room during the lesson? Do you walk about the room during the lesson? No, I don't
No, I walk
walk about the room about
about
the room
during the
during
lesson.
the lesson. I sit on my
We
chair.
sit on my chair.
So about how many questions do you answer during the lesson? About how many questions do you answer during the lesson? I answer about
We answer
50
about
questions, 50
50
questions
questions
during the lesson.
during the lesson.
Okay, repeat. Some, some.
Some, some.
That's good. Okay, now listen. For example, not all the people in this place are married. Some are married and some are single. Another example, not all the cars in Europe are Fords. Some are Fords and some are Fiats, Renaults, Volkswagen, Volvos, and etc. Okay, so some. Now, are all the people in this town men? Are all the people in this town men? No, not
No,
all
not all
people
the
in
people
this
in this
town are men.
town are men.
Are
Some are
men
men
and some
and some
are
are
women.
women.
Women. Are all
Women.
the cars in Europe Fords? Are all the cars in Europe Fords? No, not
No,
all the
not all the
cars.
cars
The cars
in
in Europe are
Europe
Fords.
are
Fords.
Fords.
Some are
Some
Fords
are Fords
and
and
some
some
are
are
Fiats,
Fiats,
Fiat Renaults,
Renaults,
Volkswagens,
Volkswagen,
Volkswagen, Volvos,
Volvos,
etc.
etc.
etc. Okay. Are all the people in this place married? Are all the people in this place married? No,
No,
not
not
all
all
the
the
people
people
in this
in this
place
world
are
in
married.
place are
Place
married.
are married. Some are
Some
married
are married
and
and
some are
some
single.
are single.
Single. Okay. Do all the people in Europe speak Spanish? Do all the people in Europe speak Spanish? No, not
No,
all the
the
people. The
people in
people in
Europe
Europe speak
speak
Spanish.
Spanish,
Spanish. Some speak Spanish.
and
Some
some
speak.
speak
Some speak
other
other
language.
languages. Good. Okay. Repeat anything.
Anything,
Something.
something,
Not anything.
not
Not
anything,
anything. Good. Nothing. Sorry.
nothing.
Nothing. Good. Okay. Now listen here. All right. So anything and something both mean the same thing. We use anything in questions and negative sentences, whereas we use something in positive sentences. So, for example, have I got anything in my right hand? We say, yes, there's something in my right hand. So, positive, we say something. There's something in my right hand.
Mhm.
But if I say, have I got anything in my left hand? No, you haven't got anything in your left hand. Okay, so not anything in my left hand. So anything for negative sentences. Okay, so anything we use in a non specific question, whereas what is specific and has a specific answer. So, for example, what am I holding in my right hand? So, I'm holding a pen. So, specific answer is pen, right? Now, repeat anything.
Anything.
Okay, so this time let's practice questions with positive answers. Okay, so have I got anything in my right hand? Have I got anything in my right hand? Yes, you've
Yes,
got
you
something,
got
something
anything in
in
your
your
right
right.
hand.
Good. Is there anything on the table? Is there anything on the table? Yes, there's something,
There's something
something
on the
on the
table.
table. Are you wearing anything on your feet? Are you wearing anything on your feet? Yes, I'm
Yes,
wearing
there's
something
something on
on
my
my
feet.
Get. Repeat, not anything.
Not anything.
Okay, listen, we say not anything for negative answers. So, for example, have I got anything in my left hand? So we say no, you haven't got anything in your left hand. Another example, are you wearing anything on your head? We say no, I'm not wearing anything on my head. So, not anything for negative answers. Now, have I got anything in my left hand? Have I got anything in my left hand? No, you
So
haven't
you have
got
got
anything.
anything in your left hand.
Is there anything there on the floor? Is there anything there on the floor? No, there
No,
isn't
there
anything
isn't anything
there
there on the floor.
for it. Are you wearing anything on your head? Are you wearing anything there on your head? No, I'm not
I'm not wearing
wearing
anything
anything.
on my head.
That's good. Okay. So maybe Bella will just stop right here because our time is already over. Okay. Yes. So do you have any questions before we end our class?
Not so far.
No. Okay. Yes. So thank you so much for your time today and have a great weekend in advance, Bella. Okay. Bye bye.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye bye.
Bye bye.